Paul Gilbert, the founder of compassion-focused therapy, suggests that you have three major emotion regulation systems. A threat system that focuses on threat detection and self-protection, a drive system that focuses on achievement and resource acquisition, and a soothing system that focuses on positive feelings of caring, kindness and safety. Although the diagram shows three distinct circles, the three systems are continuously interacting. The threat system. The threat system is activated by threat and danger. I like to think of it as your brain's alarm bell, and it's the most dominant system in your brain. The threat system is actually your default setting, so it will overrule both the drive and soothing systems. This system has been fine-tuned over thousands of years of evolution and has evolved to detect threats quickly and mobilise a response that's geared towards survival. Over much of our evolution, the major threats were predators. Nowadays, human beings have few predators, but a threat system can be triggered by emotional and social threats. For example, signals that someone is judging you, feelings of rejection, isolation, criticism and exclusion. Thinking about upsetting past events or worrying about the future can also trigger your threat system. So the function of this system is to alert and direct your attention to things that are threatening and mobilise a response that will protect you and get you to safety. Threat emotions will be activated, such as fear, anger, anxiety and disgust, and a fight, flight or freeze response will be stimulated. Now, this doesn't mean the threat system is bad. It's useful to remember that this system evolved to protect you and keep you safe. This system is the most fundamental system for immediate survival and operates on stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. The drive system. The function of this system is to motivate and encourage you to seek out resources for yourself and for those you love and care about. For example, food, shelter, work, qualifications and even social position. The drive system is active and centres around striving, achieving and consuming. This system is also very basic to survival. After all, you cannot survive without food and other resources for very long. And when you achieve these resources, the reward is pleasurable because dopamine is released in your brain. The emotions connected with the drive system include excitement, anticipation and joy. The soothing system. Now, this system is a completely different system altogether. This is the capacity for feeling soothed, to feel at peace, to feel connected with others and to feel content. Emotions connected to the soothing system are warmth, calmness, contentment and a sense of well-being. Now, your threat and drive emotions are essential for your survival and reproduction, but if you're constantly on the move, pursuing, fighting or running away, you would soon exhaust yourself. So the soothing system enables you to slow down, rest and recuperate. This system is less important for immediate survival, but very important for longer-term survival. Mammals can only survive when they're able to receive care, give care and form social bonds. Evolution has shaped the soothing system to be highly sensitive to signals of kindness, care and affection from others. It taps into the hormone oxytocin, which is sometimes known as the cuddle hormone or the love hormone, because it's released when people snuggle up or bond socially. There is emerging evidence to suggest that receiving care, affection and support not only stimulates the soothing system, but also plays a role in down-regulating the threat system. What happens when your systems are out of balance? Let's look at an example. John experienced a threat-based environment when growing up. He was physically abused by his father and bullied throughout school. This caused his brain to shift towards a dominant threat system. Because of this, it's very difficult for him to think about himself and other people in a balanced way. He views other people as physically and emotionally threatening. He worries about how people might treat him, and he believes that bad things happen because there's something fundamentally wrong with him. This blame and self-criticism leads to an avoidance of social relationships. John attempts to calm himself by drinking alcohol, but this just makes his anxiety worse. He is unable to soothe or reassure himself, so there is no relief from his situation. So mapping this out using the 3 circles, we have a large circle to represent his dominant threat system and small circles to represent his drive system and soothing system. Unfortunately, the soothing system is adversely affected by life experiences such as trauma, bullying, rejection, parental hostility or neglect. Through no fault of his own, John struggles to engage his soothing system. He experiences difficulty with self-soothing and emotional regulation. The absence of consistent nurturing and affection has left John having to manage the world and his emotions through the threat system. Let's map out another example. Sarah's parents worked hard to send her to private school, but they were emotionally unavailable. Sarah excelled academically and went on to obtain a doctorate qualification. She gained a good job and eventually became the CEO of a prestigious multinational organisation. Sarah gained her self-worth via her achievements, but she pursued achievements in unrelenting ways, which frequently led to anxiety, burnout and depression. So mapping this out using the 3 circles, we have a large circle to represent her dominant drive system, a slightly smaller circle to represent her threat system, and a very small circle to represent her soothing system. Sarah is actually oscillating between her threat and drive systems, which is a typical workaholic profile. She is overworking to block her emotions and using her drive system to try to feel better, but this just pushes her into the threat system. She attempts to soothe herself by regular and lavish shopping trips and doing excessive levels of exercise, but again, this doesn't work. That's because this is pseudo self-soothing. Sarah's attempts to emotionally regulate, such as shopping and excessive exercise, does not come from her soothing system. These soothing attempts are actually coming from her drive system. So what do the 2 examples have in common? An inability to self-soothe. So how do you self-soothe? Fortunately, you can learn to self-soothe and in turn develop and strengthen your soothing system. Quite literally, your brain can rewire itself and correct the dominant threat or drive systems. This process is known as neuroplasticity, and it means that your brain can change in response to stimuli and experience. But how do you do this? One of my favourite self-soothing exercises, one that I use personally and teach a lot to my psychotherapy clients, is called soothing rhythm breathing. In this exercise, you are slowing down and deepening your breath to find a soothing breathing rhythm. This can change your physiology, stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, and stabilise your thoughts and emotions. I've added a link to this exercise in the description below this video. Language such as self-criticism can have a big impact on how you feel and activate your threat system. But language can also be used to activate the soothing system. There is a very powerful exercise called kindness to self, which pairs gentle relaxation with nurturing and compassionate self-talk. Again, I have a link to this exercise in the description below. You can also stimulate the soothing system through imagery, such as visualising a safe place. Now, although imagery by its very nature is not real, it can result in very real changes in your body. It can actually stimulate the same parts of your brain as if the experience were real. Now, if you'd like to practice the safe place exercise, please click on the video on the screen now, and I look forward to seeing you soon.